Hi, my name's Al Benner. I'm 61 years old and I've been an entrepreneur since I was a child. My goal with this video is to inspire and share knowledge with individuals who are starting out on their own entrepreneurial journey. My very first attempts at self-employment were a roadside vegetable stand and a landscape maintenance gig that I took on during high school and college. The freedom, unlimited potential, and exhilaration of starting my own business were, for me, impossible to ignore.
Over the past 30 plus years, I've started over 10 businesses in a variety of market segments. Some I have sold, some I have closed. Another I gave to my employee for the cost of inventory, and one I am currently operating. The underlying theme with the majority of these startups has been my ever-evolving expertise with online sales and marketing of niche products and services. Just a few examples include virtually invisible deer fencing systems to protect landscaping and gardens, cat fencing to keep your pets happy and safe outdoors, live moss for shady backyard beautification, a healthy lifestyle and educational brand for children, an experiential farm with wood-fired pizza and live music, and now my current labor of love, the carving out of a disc golf course along the coast of Maine. My fiancée, Mara Angeline, and I started the Choosing Freedom YouTube channel just a couple of months ago. Our goal is to share our journey of independence, self-reliance, and living the lifestyle you desire on your terms and not under the surveillance of a large corporation or the thumb of an oppressive employer.
Are entrepreneurs born with a gift, or do they develop and perfect their craft over time? If you are considering how to best start a business, I'm sure you might be asking yourself this question. From my perspective, the good news is I believe entrepreneurs can both be born and develop the skill over time. It's just not going to come naturally to everyone. Self-confidence and optimism are two of the key ingredients to success as an entrepreneur.
For close to 25 years prior to moving to Maine full-time 3 years ago, I was a long-standing member, educational chair, and chapter president of the Entrepreneurs Organization, EO, a worldwide network of small to mid-sized business founders. An amazing organization, EO connected me with a wide range of like-minded entrepreneurs. We shared business and personal experiences monthly through our forum meetings. Anyhow, my point here is the one thing I found to have in common with these other entrepreneurs was drive, or as I like to call it, fire in the belly. We were all relentless when it came to building our startups. Our thirst for success was unquenchable.
The question you may be asking yourself is, where did this drive or fire come from? One pattern I noticed with a high percentage of the members was we all seemed to come from very humble beginnings. Quite a few were immigrants, or like me, from a family of lesser means. Perhaps we had even been picked on or felt inferior at some point. So do entrepreneurs have something to prove to themselves or to others? I think that could very well be true. Regardless, if you're still watching this video, I believe you probably have that fire or drive. So now let me share with you some wisdom and some nuggets that I learned in my 30-plus year career as a serial entrepreneur that I hope can get you started on the right foot.
Back when I lived in Philadelphia, I did quite a bit of coaching, and not just Little League coaching. As the father of twin boys, that's a whole other story. I'm talking about NFTE, NFTE, the National Foundation for Teaching Entrepreneurship. I was on their go-to list for popping into area high schools to get inner city kids excited about their own startups. It was a blast. Having a grandfather and a dad as teachers is most likely in my blood. Anyhow, what I always told the kids was your best bet for success is actually the first nugget of wisdom I'd like to share, and that is this. Success is just around the corner when your passion converges with an unmet need, a niche. A perfect example of this was my farm. I really love raising my own food and cooking. I like to eat well. I also love music. Old School Farm that I previously owned in Northeast Pennsylvania organically evolved into an experiential farm where people converged to enjoy a wide variety of live music while devouring some really tasty wood-fired sourdough pizza, cooked with love in our handmade earthen oven. The rural area was really in need of this sort of unique dining experience. If you can find where your passion happens to fill an unmet need, you have a home run on your hands.
But before you dive in gung-ho and start writing checks and transferring funds, be sure to do your homework on your customer and your target market. I failed to do this back around 2008 when a business partner and I started a company in the Philadelphia area called Backyard Farmers. The lesson learned: never assume the market is there without testing it first. I scaled up and we invested significant capital too quickly. I bought way too much inventory.
In reality, I was ahead of the time with the concept, setting up vegetable gardens in people's backyards so they could raise their own food. There are now a handful of companies doing this very thing in the area, but I entered the market prematurely, and I also led with a very pricey, handcrafted red cedar raised bed frame that proved to be too expensive for most gardening enthusiasts. We had automated watering and a really nice setup, but it was just out of reach for the target customer. Now let's contrast this with my second nugget of wisdom I'd like to share. Move slowly at first. Learn from your mistakes and let customer feedback guide you. Like me, I believe many entrepreneurs are optimists. This is what gets us going and keeps us motivated. What could go wrong, right? Well, in my entrepreneurial career, I've seen plenty go wrong, and I'm here to tell you that I believe the best thing you can do is move slowly at first and experiment.
The next bit of business startup wisdom I gleaned came in the late 1990s, early 2000s with the Benner's Deer Fencing Company. We were experiencing very high growth, and in retrospect, looking back, I now realize that timing is everything.
Let me reinforce this a bit with a brief story about the first business my dad and I started back in 1993, Benner's Gardens. I was getting my MBA while simultaneously my dad, Dave, was having a video of his well-known moss and wildflower gardens produced at his property. As an overzealous budding entrepreneur anxious to cut my teeth in the market, I assumed there was a big market for the Made in the Shade video that was being produced. In time, I would be proven dead wrong, but as I began to slowly trickle out ads for the video with limited results, I watched as my dad began selling some rolls of green plastic netting to his neighbors for use in keeping deer off their properties. My dad had been experiencing significant deer browse for years and had been having some success keeping these voracious creatures at bay by running the netting from tree to tree around an acre or so of his woodland gardens. By moving slowly and running just a few classified ads in a handful of gardening magazines, we were soon able to pivot to start including leaflets about deer fencing with every video sold. Soon we were running standalone ads, doing direct mail, and by the late 90s, we had one of the very first websites. I like to call it the golden age of the internet. By simply having a website about deer-damaging landscaping and gardens, we were attracting basically any and all people searching for this problem to our website. Within a couple of years, as web traffic ramped up, the business exploded. We ultimately became the largest supplier of polypropylene deer fencing in North America. At the peak before I sold the business in 2006, we employed 15 people, but that's a whole other story.
The final pearl of wisdom I'd like to share is this. In the early days of your startup, be sure to take on the vast majority of the tasks yourself. It is imperative to learn your products, your market, who your customers are, and learn your business from the bottom up. This way, when you scale the business, you're in a much better position to be able to manage those working for you. Then once you hit more explosive growth, start to surround yourself with people that are even smarter or more expert than you in the particular areas that they're going to be working in. I found that I was able to really grow my businesses quickly if I had people doing more of the day-to-day activities such as customer service, website development, accounting, bookkeeping, these things that take a lot of time but need to be done right. And that way I could focus on the big picture of the business and growing it. Your focus should definitely be on the big picture. And if you get burned out or you get overwhelmed, or what happened to me a lot is you get bored, the best advice I would give you is get out. That is the time to sell or find a way to transition out and spend your time elsewhere. Because the last thing you want to be doing as an entrepreneur is working on something that doesn't really resonate to your core. And I can honestly tell you that's where I come back to the beginning of this whole presentation was do something you enjoy, do something you're passionate about, do something you love and you have conviction around, and then marry that with a niche or a target audience that is underserved in the market. Fill a need. If you align those two things, it's a home run. Thanks for watching. I hope in some way what I've shared today helps you. If you enjoyed this short video, please be sure and subscribe to our channel, as I plan on doing more about entrepreneurship and business startups. I have over 30 years of experience starting numerous companies, and I'd love to share everything I have to help people get off on the right foot. So thanks again for watching, and feel free to like this if you enjoyed it, subscribe, and share. Thank you.
If you agree that being an early adopter of technology is key, then regardless of your age, when you are finished viewing this video and hopefully subscribe to our channel, you might want to take a look at my other video, Bitcoin for Boomers. As an early adopter of technology, I share my journey of investing in Bitcoin and all I have learned over the past 4 years. I think you will like it.